Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living God. There is but one. He is the author and writer of all things and the one that moves everything into place. There is none like the Spirit of Truth, the living one. Since I've been reading this Bible, I started out like a year ago when I had this channel a year ago. Things were moving along. The channel was growing. My views were growing. I was having, I was happy with 30 to 50 views. I really was. I was very happy. And since I started reading this Bible, the entire Bible, I've lost a lot of views. I'd probably say most of those views that I've lost were from my brothers and sisters that are Israelites, because I started pointing out the contradictions in this Bible, and that's what this lesson is going to be about here. The contradictions of Yahweh today, or Elohim. Elohim are supposed to be both good and evil, as I've taught many times. So we're looking at Micah here, 7:18. Who is the Lord like you, who pardons iniquity and passes over the transgressions of the remnant of his inheritance? The remnant of his inheritance is Israel, who does not retain his anger forever. The Lord does not retain his anger forever, because he delights in loving devotion. Well, that's a far cry from Jeremiah 17:14 here, and this one says, "And you yourselves will relinquish the inheritance that I gave you. I will enslave you to your enemies in the land that you do not know, for you have kindled my anger, and it will burn forever." Okay? So God's anger is going to burn forever, and then his anger will not. Who does not retain his anger forever? Who does not retain his anger forever? So I've been, and this is the Lord here again. If we back this up to Micah 7:17, you have the Lord and God here. The Lord is Yahweh. Okay? It's the self-existing eternal creator. God is Elohim. In this case here, you have Elohinu, and then there's Eloheka, and there's many other Elohims, because it's telling you right to your face that Elohim are plural. Elohim are plural. Gods in the ordinary sense, but this God here is used. And then you have the Lord. The Lord is the supreme, or in this case, the Lord is Yahweh, I should say. I don't worship the Lord simply because Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, Bible Hub. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, Bible Hub. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord again here is Yahweh. Okay, Yahweh is the proper name of God of Israel. Yahweh. That's the problem right here, is Yahweh is a man of war. Right there, Yahweh is a man of war. Problem? Numbers chapter 23:19, Bible Hub. God is not a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he should change his mind. Does he not speak and not act? Does he speak and not act? Excuse me. Does he promise and not fulfill? Well, you got to ask if his presence here in Micah 17, they will lick like the dust like a snake, like reptiles slithering on the ground. They will crawl on their holes in the presence of the Lord our God. They will tremble in fear of you. The Lord, Yahweh, here says that his anger, who does not retain his anger forever, but then says here, my anger for you have kindled my anger. It will burn forever. First contradiction. Also, real quick, coming back here to 15:3, it also says that YAHWEH is a man of battle. YAHWEH is his name. The Lord is a man of war. So anything that is a man, it cannot be the Supreme Spirit, because God here, Elohenu, as I said earlier, 4:10, this is God in plural. God shortened from Ayil, strength and objective, mighty, especially the Almighty, is not a man. The Supreme Spirit of truth is not a man, okay? We are gods, as Jesus says. And I'm not saying we're gods. I'm telling you that the Bible tells us and says that we are gods. Jesus says, is it not written in your law that I have said you're gods? When did he say it? He said it in Genesis chapter 3, verse 5. When he comes into the garden, seduces Eve and says, you will not surely die, because God knows in the day you eat thereof your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall become as gods. Contradictions in the Bible. Does God test his children? Well, sometime later, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, here I am, he answered. So Abraham is tested. So what do I teach you? I teach you that if something doesn't align in the Bibles, then discernment is needed. You must cast aside everything that you've been taught by other ministers. You got to dig into this book yourself. There are instructors that can guide you along the way and help you to understand this Bible. Once you realize that the contradictions are in the Bible, then you know that it's not a perfect manuscript. Then you got to ask yourself why. Why isn't this a perfect manuscript? When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. So there's a contradiction right there. Another contradiction. Sometime later, God testing is a temptation, testing Abraham, and said to him, Abraham, here I am. I'd like to be clear on everything that I'm sharing with you. 5254, Nasha, in the Strong's Concordance, okay? To test, to try. When we come down here, translations means to make a test, prove, put to a test, tempt. That's the word I was wanting to get to, tempt. So, tested Abraham. God tempted Abraham. How do you tempt somebody to, how do you even call that a tempt? To tempt somebody to kill their own child, to lay it up on an altar, to be destroyed. So God tempted Abraham in the Old Testament, and then in the New Testament it says that God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. Big contradiction there. A lot of debating and arguing going on between justification in the law or justification in faith. Here we're at Galatians 2:16, which says, know that a man is not justified by works of the law. You are not justified by the works of the law, but by faith in Jesus Christ. So we too have believed in Christ Jesus, that we may be justified by faith in Christ and not by works of the law. Because by works of the law, no one will be justified. Let me say that one more time. Because by works of the law, no one will be justified. What does this channel teach you here? What's the law, folks? When Jesus says, I have not come to abolish the law, what's he talking about? He's talking about the Genesis. The gospel here is the gospel, the genitive case, the first book, okay? The Torah, the 5 books. Also the gospel. Don't get caught with the gospel, man. The gospel is a ghost spell that's been placed over your eyes. So, because by works of the law, no one can be justified. Well, I tell you, these are contradictions we're going over today. Matthew 19:17. Why do you ask me about what is good? Jesus replied. There is no one. There is only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments. The commandments are the law. Keep the law. Because of by works of the law, no one will be justified. Keep the commandments. It's another one we got here. Romans 3:28. For we maintain that a man is justified by faith apart from works of the law. Pretty heavy-duty stuff. See, because the Gentile, they're trying to abolish the law. And Jesus is telling you, I didn't come to abolish the law. The Gentile wants you to go by faith in their God, Jesus Christ, and you have the Supreme Spirit that's saying that he's one. As you can see, a man is justified by his deeds and not by faith alone. His deeds in the law, by the works of his law. It's all right to have faith, folks. The two are combined together. You can't have the one without the other. You got to have both faith and works. Okay? If you think that you're getting into the kingdom of heaven on faith alone, you are sadly mistaken. You are walking contrary and you're living in error. Here at the contradictions, we'd be asking, can anybody see God's face and live? So Jacob named the place Peniel, saying, indeed, I have seen God face to face. Jacob saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. Exodus chapter 33, verse 20, but he added, you cannot see my face, for no one can see my face and live. Okay, this is the Lord. No one can see the Lord's face and live. So, what am I telling you? I'm telling you that mankind, us, all mankind, okay, are two-faced gods. Jesus said we're gods. We're the lowercase gods. We're the fallen angels. Jesus said that we're gods. I got to keep reminding you. I'm not saying that you're God. Jesus said in the parables that we are gods. So the Lord here, let's read 9. I will cause all my goodness to pass before you, the Lord replied, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, which is Yahweh. I will proclaim my name, Yahweh, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. But he added, you cannot see my face, for no one can see my face and live. Okay, and then he places him in a rock, and he says, when all my glory is passed by, I will lift up my hand, and he says it again, twice. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, I will give this land to your offspring. So Abram built an altar there to the Lord, Yahweh, who appeared before him. Yahweh appeared before him. Now the Spirit doesn't appear before anyone because no one in the flesh can see the Spirit. The only way you can get to the spiritual realm is while you're sleeping. You see, when you're awake in this plane of existence, that's the true sleep. You're walking around. You're the sleeping. You're the walking dead. We're the sleeping beauties. We're the fallen angels. So, Abram, the Lord appeared to Abram. Appeared. Let's take a look at the word appeared. To see. Okay? So, God is saying that no one can see his face and live. But he added, you cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live. No man can see me and live. And we'll pop over here to Exodus 33:11, and then you have Moses sees God face to face. Thus the Lord would speak with Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. So again, Lord Yahweh, see, because I believe that a man calling himself as a God, putting himself as a God, as a Lord, can sit with another man face to face. You can't see the Spirit face to face because the Spirit's telling you in Exodus 33:20 that no one can see me and live. So that's a contradiction. And then you have, no one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son. No one has ever seen God. Well, that's a contradiction right within itself. No one has ever seen God but the Son, the one and only Son, who is himself God, and at the Father's side, he has made him known. No one has ever seen God but the Son of God. Hold on. No one has ever seen God but the what? What about the nobles? What about the 70 top leaders of the Israelite tribes, huh? But God did not lay his hands on the nobles of Israel. They saw him, so the nobles of Israel saw Yahweh as well. And they ate and drank. So the God here, and this God here is Elohim, folks. Okay? Ha Elohim. I love this stuff. I love teaching this truth. I love learning right along with you. See, I can read something today and really have a deep, profound meaning and knowledge of what's hidden under the line. Once you start seeing these contradictions, it puts you in a very, very powerful place for discernment. Okay, the first thing to acknowledge is that there are contradictions in the Bible. You won't get that from any Christian minister. You won't get that from a Catholic. They tell you over and over and over that the Bible is a perfect manuscript. Okay? Moving on. Next question to ask here, I guess, is does the Lord delight in burnt offerings? And Judah's adultery persists. This is what the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, says. Add your burnt offerings to your other sacrifices and eat the meat yourselves. For when I brought you, your fathers, out of the land of Egypt, I did not command them about burnt offerings. You are to make for me an altar of the earth, and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and peace offerings, your sheep and goats and cattle. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I will come to you and bless you. Next question, is God the author of evil? He says, I form the light, Yahweh, this is Yahweh, the Lord, and there is no other. I form the light, the illuminated. Luminaries and illumination are two different things. Illuminated means to be enlightened. It's insight. It's wisdom. Illuminated person has wisdom. Luminaries are your stars and your sun and moon and everything in the sky. So he forms the light, and you have light and luminaries both in the same context, and create the darkness. Darkness is evil. In this parable, it means figuratively misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, and wickedness. I bring prosperity. Prosperity is spiritual wealth, okay? Prosperity has nothing to do with money. It has to deal with your spiritual welfare, your health, your peace, your spiritual prosperity. Those that walk in a prostrate manner with the Spirit of truth, the living one, are in peace. And I create calamity. I, the Lord, Yahweh, do all these things. John 1, love comes from God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Yahweh here tells you that he's the one that creates good and evil. So what would that tell you? That is a two-faced God. Okay? The supreme spirit of truth, the living God, he created everything and he set it all in motion. And he's just watching over his creation. You know, he's outside of it. He created good and evil, and it's on this plane of existence, but the Supreme Spirit is completely outside of this plane of existence. Yet somehow he uses the Elohim, which are both good and evil, for his glory. According to Genesis, were humans created before the animals? No and yes. And the Lord God commanded him, you may eat freely from every tree of the garden, but you must not eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. The Lord God also said, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make him a suitable partner, a helper. So humans were not created before the animals. Well, animals, in this particular case, Genesis 1:25, God made the beasts of the field, each according to their kind. These are the animals. These are the wild animals that live in the cities. The livestock are the animals that live out in the wild animal kingdom, and everything that crawls upon the face of the earth. And God saw that it was good. So here we have beasts and animals in the creation story in Genesis 1:24, and God said that the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and land crawlers, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. Beasts of the earth according to their kinds are the United Nations. See, these right here, images of the United Nations. Right here are your beast nations. These that assemble at the United Nations. These are the demons of the world. Right here in plain sight. This is now called, look, the United Nations Ministry. The one world order is in effect. It is into the one world order. What is the new world religion? The new world religion is all that is evil coming out of the closets. That's the new world order. Evil coming out of the closets. The LBGTQ&A. You cannot watch a program today that doesn't have something queer that is written in the scriptures. So you have humans here that are created after the man. Actually, the man was created in Genesis chapter 2. Okay? And then in Genesis chapter, this on the 6th day, God Elohim, here, something that is used of the Supreme Creator, used here, okay, created the beasts of the field, each according to their kind. This God here created the United Nations, each according to their kinds, okay? This is not, let me repeat, this God here is not the God of Israel. If you can understand that the Supreme Spirit, which is one, created both good and evil, yet he divided himself from what was evil, just like you feel like that you're you and a different person separate from God, from me, a different person separate from God, us separated from God. We are these, the beast. Those that are separated from God, not seeking the truth, are the beast nations. So, animals, according to Genesis, were created before mankind, and then mankind, the way it goes is animals were created, and then humans were created, and then God here again is saying that the animals are being created again, the livestock according. Why is this? God made the beasts of the field because everything that's being created in the first part of the creation story here, but do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, your eye will be open, and the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. And then this is where the Lord creates Eve. Oh, did I just evil? Eve. Evil Eve. She ate from the tree. Look at here. So here we have a Christian woman, Southern Bible Thumper, okay? And I met this channel here when she first started it. She started her channel this last year, October 5th, 2023. So she's been open for about 6 months, and I came across her channel right when she started. So right when she started, I started sharing content in all of her videos because she has her playlist. You know how I am about Genesis and stuff, so she has all her playlists here. So I was following her, and I was just kind of giving her information, but believe me, they don't want to hear anything that you have to say, a Christian. They don't. So this is the way she is here. Look what she says.
Also, the other thing I want to bring up here, when we look at the pattern of Adam and how he dealt with Eve, right? He listened to Eve. He took his own free will to go against God, even though God spoke to him directly. He took his own free will, listened to Eve, and then once he got in trouble with God because God spoke to him directly and he decided, I'm going to go against God for this woman, well, then he blames Eve. He doesn't even take accountability for using his own free will. He blames the woman. And then when we look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, he then calls his wife's name Eve. He calls her a name. And this is so petty. So after you get in trouble, after you listen to the woman said I could, the woman said I could, and you listen to her, you get in something, and then you go and you blame the woman. Isn't that the manosphere?
You see that smirk on her face at the very end? Isn't that the manosphere? Isn't that the manosphere? This woman here, oh, she's a wildcat. So these were my comments and stuff, and I've been in, oh, it looks like she's removed my comments. There's only 4 comments there. Yeah, I had a couple comments there, and my comments were that I just can't believe they're not there. Maybe they're hidden. YouTube likes to do that. Oh, there they are. So her wisdom comes from a pop singer because I watched one of her other videos that sold her soul to the devil for fame and glory. Now, the way she's talking here, she's just like pointing her finger at Adam like it's Adam's fault. Okay? Let me be very clear, folks, that Adam, the Lord, Yahweh, in this particular case, gave a command to Adam not to touch that tree. And Adam never touched that tree. All right? And then the Lord said it's not good for Adam to be alone. So he makes Adam a helpmate. All right? She just, in a single minute of a parable, blew a helpmate right out of the water and turned right around and pointed her fingers at Adam, that it was Adam's fault. No, it wasn't Adam's fault. Adam ate the apple because he loved the woman, but she's the one that disobeyed her husband. You understand? This is in direct correlation to the seed between you and the woman. This is why Israel's men and women do not get along, and you don't. Okay? If you, a man and a woman, find one another and they serve the Spirit of truth, the living one, then blessings to them. But I'm not too kind on somebody. She's out of her head. She's mind bent. You remember the story, the road to Damascus, where all the shit's going on over there right now in that providence of the world? Now, get up and go into the city, and you will be told what to do, what you must do. The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the voice, but did not see anyone. So they heard a voice in their head, but they did not see anyone. And who's the writer of Acts? Luke. Luke wrote the book of Acts. So here you have Luke, the prophet Luke, right here. And then he says right here, later, and often, this is how it happens. You know, I could show you, I'm going to show you a lot of contradictions, okay? Acts 22:9. My companions saw the light, but they could not understand the voice of the one speaking to me. Huh? They heard the voice, but they did not see anything. My companions saw the light, but they could not understand the voice of the one speaking to me. A light, a source of light, radiance from an obsolete fail, luminescent. Next question to ask yourself is, will the earth last forever? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. Well, if this earth remains forever, then that would absolutely have to tell us that this plane of existence is hell. Let me say it again. If this plane of existence is going to last forever, then this plane of existence is hell. And it's the Lord here. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness, but is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. Jesus is the one that coming like a thief. This is the Lord, Kyrios, supreme in authority, a Lord Master. You see, the Lord in this is not the same as the Lord in the Old Testament. The Lord in this are Lords. Every movie that you've ever watched in your life about Middle Eastern or medieval type times and stuff like that, and queens and kings, what are they all calling each other? Lords. That's what this Lord is. This is not the Supreme Spirit. It can't be. But the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and its works will be laid bare. So here the earth is going to be destroyed. Okay? Contradictions in the Bible. This is Ecclesiastes. And I've been telling people nowhere in the Bible that I've read, in the 5 books of Moses, is one word ever mentioned about a hell or hellfire. Hellfire doesn't come later until the New Testament. The boogeyman's coming. Better watch out. Who's the boogeyman? The boogeyman's the ghost, right? Here's John. Like I say, whenever you have one set of prophets contradicting another set of prophets, you got to use a little bit of discernment, okay? No one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man, firstborn Israel. This is Jesus, Son of Man, who's descending from heaven, as the scriptures are telling us. Is Jesus the only one who ascended to heaven? No, not according to 2 Kings 2:11. As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire with horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up into heaven in a whirlwind. Yeah, well, that's kind of opposite of no one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. Jesus Christ, who's the Son of Man? Jesus Christ, the Son's descendants, apparently a primary word is son, used very widely of immediate, remote, or figuratively kinship. Okay? Kinship. The bloodline of Adam and Eve, the second man, Adam and Eve. Well, again, that's opposite of this. No one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. All right, now, and this one here is a real big contradiction. So, for the fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor children for their fathers. Each is to die for their own sins. The atheists roll with this parable here. No, you shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God. When God says them, he's talking about idols. He's talking about the population in general. He's talking about these right there, right in front of your face. Okay? These are your idols. Lionel Richie is an idol. Okay, I don't know any of these people. I really don't follow it anymore. I'm not really in the music industry anymore. I know this one. She's got her own little show. This woman is about as dingy and as stupid as fucking stupid is as stupid does. They ain't one fucking bit of any kind of wisdom inside of this chick. Just listening to her talk when I'm sitting there, and my dad, he watches this girl. She's got her own little talk show. It's horrendous that people even listen to that kind of garbage. Listen to her. Just because she can sing good, they think that that she's this most wise. Okay. Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor the children for their fathers. Each is to die for their own sin. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. The supreme spirit of truth, the living one, the one that created everything, is in control of everything, is a jealous God. No, the Lord Yahweh, who's a man, is a jealous God. Elohim, again, here are Eloheka, plural of Eloah. Everything's a plural of Eloah. They're gods in the ordinary sense, but used of the supreme creator. Jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers, the iniquities, the evil of your fathers on their children. Visiting the iniquities of their fathers, the evil that your fathers have done on their children, to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Showing love and devotion to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. This is the problem, is you guys, every time you get on a good roll with the Spirit, you go and turn around and you fuck it up. It's just plain, it's clear as day. Look, this man here, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, Bible Hub. This one pulled the wool over your eyes. This God created man in his own image. Okay? God created man in his own image. So you have this God here that created in his own image. And then you have this God here, Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, Bible Hub. Saying, you shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything. An idol is an image. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, on the earth beneath, or the waters below. Nothing. So God created man in his own image. I absolutely know 100% without any fault, without any question, without any doubt, that this God here that created man in his own image is Satan. This God right here is Satan. Call him God, call him whatever you want to call him. Call him God, Elohim. Elohim is the electrification of the materialized world. This is why you have El in electricity. This is why they are the elite. This is why they are Israelites, because they are the elites that are in Israel. El is the God supreme of this plane of existence. Everybody needs to wake up and learn what's going on. Everybody needs to wake up and learn what's going on. Here we have, speaking about the Lord once again. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary at all. His understanding is beyond searching out. Well, it's beyond, but it's not, it's absolutely worth searching for. There's no question about that. So the Lord never grows tired and never wearies. You have not bought me sweet cane with your silver, nor satisfied me with the fat of your sacrifices. But you have burdened me with your sins. You have wearied me with your iniquities. You wearied me. You have wearied me to toil, grow, or be wearied. Worn. So the Spirit is worn out? No, he's not. He never grows tired or weary. Makes me think of this right here. Alas, O sinful nation, not nations, not an S at the end. So this is addressing Israel right here. Your Lord, your God, your Creator is calling you an evil. He's saying a people laden with iniquity, a brood of evildoers, children of depravity. They have forsaken the Lord. They have despised the Holy One of Israel and turned their backs on him. Israel, you turned your backs on your God, Yahweh, as it's telling us here, not me. It's also saying that you're a brood of evildoers yourself. Because remember, how's this story break loose? You have Adam, who was commanded not to touch the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You have another man, Adam, that was created first, and it's this man, Adam, that flipped the script on everything. We live in a world of duality. Duality didn't exist outside this plane of existence. Time doesn't exist. Space doesn't exist. Everything that does exist is of the mind. So let's take a break and listen to our sponsors.
The writings do not contradict each other. No, there are no contradictions. All of these authors, over such a long period of time, no, there's no contradiction here.
They merely supplement each other. Folks, if a minister ever tells you that the Bible is uncorrupted, it's a perfect manuscript, you must run from that person. That is not a human. That is a beast. Okay? A human is going to be somebody that sees the contradictions and points those contradictions out for you. This plane of existence wants to program you. And then this is how they do it.
All right, Troop, you're next. Get in the chair.
I was thinking something like this. Look at this lifeguard.
And we all know what maggots eat, and I will be the guy providing. I bet there's a great story for this, isn't there, son? Hang on. Would you like to tell me what happened to your gear, Private?
Well, the pack, I figure I can eventually get off a dead guy. And the poncho, does it look like rain to you?
He commits his sun and rain. I am just a human stain. My drill sergeant's breath is not my concern.
Well, Troop, you polished your boots before everyone else.
I just did it exactly the way you told me to. I did the same thing to make my bed and secure my footlocker.
That's the most miraculous turnaround that I've ever seen. How the worst soldier in the unit has managed to put them all to shame.
I just stopped thinking. But if I just do exactly what I'm told and nothing else, then everything gets easy. I'm the world's happiest tool.
You must be proud of yourself, son.
I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Oh my God, a soldier like you comes along once in 1,000 years.
You have been programmed, folks. Okay? Why do you think, look at the spelling up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. A soldier like you comes along once in 1,000 years. 1,000 years, man, right in front of your face. 1,000 years in the word soldier. SOLDIER, a soul in dire straits. A soul dies when you go off to battle. Okay? You get to do it over and over and over and over and over again, man. Your immortality is going to be this plane of existence to live and die for eternity. Much love to the children of Israel, those that seek and love the spirit of truth, walking in the truth, talking in the truth, sharing the truth, being the truth. You are a part of the truth. All of us combined are a piece of the puzzle. The more pieces that come together, the more the outline of the puzzle comes together. Have a great day. This is White Raptor News Ministries.